Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to discuss about deployment objects in Kubernetes. Okay, we already discussed about replica set and replication controller. So, so deployment will supported both features of replication controller and replica set. So under replica set, rolling update it's not provided. Okay, so it will be provided by the replication controller. So there are some advantages of replication set to when you do deployment. So whatever the match labels, selectors, it should be we can define in deployment also. So when you created the deployment, that time it will come up with the replication set and pods also it will create it. Okay. So replication rolling updates we can do with the deployment. Suppose I have a we did a release on March with version 1. The pods are running on the production. Okay. Now we have some make changes on the application. Now we have to do uh, new release version 2. Okay. That time when we deploy the deployment like the old parts need to get deleted and new parts should be running. So you can achieve through deployment the rolling update strategy. Okay, there are deployment strategies like blue, green, canary, and rolling update and recreate. We'll see one by one. Okay, now let me create a one deployment. Like before that, see deployment will provide you declarative updates of pods and replication set. So when you do deployment, okay, it should be like a desired criteria and manage replica set and balance workload. Okay, replica set ensure pods are available and match the desired state. What pod should be pod holds the complete workload. Okay, so when you create a deployment, it should be come up with replica set and pod as well. Okay, and deployment are intended to replication controller when comparing to deployment versus replica set. The former provide the same replication functionality through replica set, also ability to achieve rollout changes and rollback if necessary. We can do rollout and rollback if necessary. Okay, if something went wrong, we can roll back. Okay, you can describe the desired state in deployment. The deployment control changes the actual state of the desired state control rate. Okay, so now let me do the deployment. So this is my deployment file. Let me open the deployment file. See everything except strategy. Okay, replication strategy. Everything all the same objects only. See API version. Uh, we are giving API version v1 apps.v1 kind deployment. Okay, metadata. This is the name of the deployment. Okay, and Node.js app is Node.js and replication. I mentioned the two. If you want, you can provide the four or anything. Okay, up to your wish. And the strategy here we are using rolling update. Okay, type rolling update. The max unavailable and max search. Okay, and the selector match label, this is comes under replication set. Okay, and template metadata, and this is the specific to the container information, like this is the name of the container and this is the image. Okay, now let me create the image. So let me update this replication control 4 and max search 2 means va deployment dot yml. Let me update 4 and max search 2. Okay, kubectl create -f deployment. My deployment created successfully. If you check kubectl get deploy or deployment. Okay, it is 4 out of 3 is now running. If you check again, 4 out of 4. Okay, if you describe the deployment kubectl describe deployment. Okay, deployment name you need to give. This is my deployment name. Sorry, kubectl describe kubectl describe deploy and deployment name. Okay, see here, this is the name, namespace is default, and the creation timestamp, and the labels app equal to node.js. This is the label, and selector and replication controller 4 designed, 4 updated, and 4 available. Okay, and the VR strategy type is rolling update, and min ready selector 2 and rolling update strategy. Okay, this is the image container name. Okay, this is the image container name image. Okay, this is the about the pod description. Okay, if you do kubectl get pods, so we have 4 pods are available. Okay, if you do kubectl get rs, see 4 replica sets. Okay, now if you want to access this pods, okay, we need to create the service file. Okay, then only we can access from the outside. Okay, kubectl we have already service file. Okay, to open that one, cat service.ml. So here service type we are using node port. Okay, there are different types of services: node port, cluster IP, load balancer, external IP. Okay, now I am using node port. Using node port from external outside we can access this one. Okay, node port, and the selector is app. Okay, and protocols TCP. Uh, so it will matches the selector with node port, and it will pick the pods. Okay, now kubectl create -f service dot yml. If you check now kubectl get services, sorry, kubectl get service name. Okay, this is the node port. Okay, this is the cluster IP. Using, if you want to access this one, you just need to use this port number. Okay, let me one second. So if I want to access my service, so using this port, we can able to see the response. Okay, take the public IP. Okay, let me take incognito port number 3028285. 30285. See, I'm getting the response, hello world response. Okay, so now like this we can able to access the services. Okay, so next if I want to describe the deployment, we have like a template. Okay, labels and all. So the template is actually is a pod template. It describes the pod that is launched. Okay, once one of the field for the pod template is replicas. Okay, if you describe the set replicas 2, it would be make 2 pods of that time, that the deployment. Okay, the deployment would involve both the pods. Okay, so the template for the pod is label. Okay, template labels. Okay, so that pod has a label, so it's not the label of the deployment anymore, it's a label for the pod that is deployment while deploying. Then we have to tell the deployment to match the pod that is deploying. Okay, now selector, under selector, okay, match match labels tells the resources whatever it may be, services, deployment, okay, etc., to match the pod according to the label. For example, when you want to apply the service, Okay, to access the, we have written the service file, right? Service.ml. Okay, you need to apply that service to the pod which match labels. So here the cat service, sorry, service.ml. So here the selector is there, right? It should be matched with this app name. So it will matches the labels, match labels, and then it will get the response according to that. Okay. Now, as I said, max and min response. Okay. Deployment strategy types. Okay. So there are a recreate and rolling update, blue green, and canary deployment. Okay. Now blue green deployment, the max unavailable and max search. Okay. The max unavailable means when set up together with a horizontal pod auto scaling to handy to use the percentage base, the instance number of max search and max unavailable. Max unavailable means define the maximum number of pods to that can be unavailable while update the process. Okay, max search define the max number of pods that can be created. Suppose my replicas are 4, the max unavailable, okay, 25% means, so it should be 3, it should be available, and minimum 2, minimum 3, maximum it should be 5. Okay, like that. So let me watch that pod while make the changes. Okay, to roll back the changes, roll out the changes. So kubectl watch, sorry, clearing this scene. So rolling update strategy, we'll check that one. There are different types of rolling update strategies. Okay, one is recreate. Okay, what recreate will do? It will terminate the old version and releases the new version. Okay, and rolling update releases a new version on rolling update fashion, one after the another one. Suppose I have 3 pod, so one it should be deleted, one new one is created. Okay, same. Next old one is created, second new one is created. Blue green deployments. Okay, releases new version alongside old version and switch to traffic. And canary deployment, it releases the new version of subsets of user, then protocol will roll out. Now I will show you the updating of new version. Okay, so I just created a version 2 image. Okay, now I have pushed that docker images. Now I have in the deployment file we have version 1, so these pods are currently running. Okay, now upgrade the node version with label. If I see with kubectl rollout history deploy and deployment name. Okay, deployment name is node.js deployment. Okay, if I see only one version, okay, currently we didn't make any version. Okay, so one version is available. Now I make some changes on the this one, like deployment file vi deployment.ml. So I'm making version 2. Okay, version 2. Now here replicas are 4, max surge is 2. Okay, so it should be, see, currently it should be 4 running, right? While rolling update, one it should be deleted and new one is created. Now the second new one is created, the second two is going to be deleted. Okay, one after the another it will be created. So for that one, Let me create a deployment. kubectl apply -f deployment.yml. See, if you check now, see pending, it is terminating one. Okay, old one is pending. It is terminating, container is creating. Okay, it should be old one is terminate and new one is creating. Okay, we'll check pod lifecycle, like what are the status initially and what all it will come. If you check now, kubectl get pods. Okay, see, it is terminating the old ones and it is running a new one. See, by once the deployment is successfully done, you will get actual desired state whatever we have mentioned. So it should be there, same thing. Now it is coming back to 4 replicas. So while rolling update strategy, it should be max up to we gave 4, right? It should be 6 and the minimum it should be 4. Like that it will be calculated. Okay, now if you check kubectl rollout history deploy and deployment name node.js deployment. Now we have 2 revisions. Okay, the change cause we didn't mention anything, that's why it is showing none. Now version 2. Okay, now check the rollout version. If I want to see the revision 1 hyphen revision, revision 1, it is showing like image name v1. Okay, and pod template, this is one label. If you check the image version 2, it should be there. So like that, if you want to change anything on the deployment file, it should be save the revisions. Okay, now I have upgraded the version. So you can do like command prompt as well. Also you can do um, the service file also. Okay, to upgrade the new image, to upgrade the new image using below command, we have already there. So if you want, you can just upgrade this image. So I already have. Just kubectl set image deploy deployment name and deployment equal to version 2. Now if you check version 3, the specified version, only 2 versions are there. Only 2 versions. Okay, already it is there. Check the rollout history, we have seen this one, and rollout to previous version to use below command. Now we have, if you do kubectl get deploy, okay, we have 2 deploys, means deployment is one. Okay, and up to date is this one, kubectl get all. This is the deployment is completed. Now versions, the current version is kubectl describe deploy deployment name deployment node.js deployment. kubectl This is the latest deployment version v2. So okay, now I wanted to roll back to previous version revision 1. Okay, for that one, just this is the command, like for rollout undo. Okay, kubectl rollout undo deploy deployment name deployment, sorry, deployment deployment name is node.js deployment, sorry, one second. Now this is the, we have two versions. I am current version is v2, so I wanted to back to v1 due to some issue, so I just roll out undo the changes to one. This is the command. Okay, so kubectl rollout undo deployment and deployment name to revision 1. See, it is rolled back successfully, so it should be getting back to version 1. So based on that deployment strategy, it should be created max and minserve. So at the end, it will be, once the deployment process is completed, it should be back to the original s- state. Means how many replicas we have mentioned, it should be getting the same. So if you do kubectl get pods, so it should be still one more, it is terminating state. So if keep on, see, now 4 it is running. This is the new pods. If you do kubectl describe deploy and deployment name like node.js deployment, it should be back to version 1. Okay. Now if you do kubectl rollout history deployment and deployment name is node.js deployment. See, it should be one, it is removed, and it should be revision 2, and the new revision is 3. Like it's one is rolled back, right? So it should be revision 2, and it is created a new revision 3. Okay, this is the main advantage of using rolling update. Okay, using deployments in the Kubernetes objects. So deployment strategy. Okay, so Kubernetes, there are a few different ways to release an application. It is necessary to choose the right strategy to make infrastructure reliable during the application update. Okay, choosing the right deployment procedure depends on the need. We listed the below some of the possible strategies. As I said, like recreate, rolling update, okay, blue green deployment and canary deployment. Okay, as of now we have seen like rolling update one. Okay, if you use recreate, okay, the strategy deployment strategy, it will terminate the old version and releases the new version. Okay, so whatever the pods it will be there, it should be deleted the at one and releases the new version. The rolling update, this new release on rolling update fashion one after the another. Okay, it should be one old one, it is deleted, created new one, another old one deleted, and second new one it is created. The blue green deployment, it releases the new revision, okay, new version alongside old version, then switches to traffic. Canary, release a new version to subsets of users and process to fill the rollout. So recreate one, what it will be the, what it will do. We have to mention the desired state, right? So it will be selected old pods and terminated that one. Some set system downtime, it will be there, that time application not able to access. Okay, and terminated all old pods, created the updated pods and available, and the rollout update the rollout completion state. Okay, there is some advantage and disadvantages also. Application entirely renewed, okay, if you use recreate, and not suitable for higher environments like pod. Okay, there is a downtime. If some application is some downtime, we can't able to access, right? That is the thing. So downtime that depends on both shutdown and boot duration of the application. This is the, if it is large application, it will that time it is not good to go with the create one recreate one. Now rolling updates. Okay, this is default. If you didn't mention any deployment strategy, by default it should be work on rolling update. Okay, so in this recreate with a new version of application, the number of replicas to the old version, it is decreased and the new version is increased until the correct number of replicas is reached. See, you check the desired state. Okay, if it is false, then old pod, and it should be deactivate the old pod and create updated pod. Once pod is activated, then it is come and it is check the desired state. Once it is true, the rolling process it should be completed. The, this is the process. Like if you have three nodes, okay, three versions of the three pods, okay. Now the new one is created and old one should be deleted. Now another new pod is created, old one is deleted. Same. So it will be one old one, it is deleted, created the new one. So that time you can access the old version and new version. Once the process deployment process is completed, it will be completely with the new version. Okay. When the setup is together, horizontal pod auto scaling that can be handy to use percentage based value instead of number of maxer and minser. Okay, max unavailable defines the maximum number of pods that can be unavailable update process. Okay, deployment update process. Max surges defines the number of pods that can be created. There is some advantage and disadvantage also. Version is solely released across the instances. So convenient for stateful applications that can be handled rebalancing of the data. And cons like rollout and rollback can take time. So as we have seen, rollout rollback can take time. Supporting multi APIs is hard, not control over the traffic. Now blue-green deployment. In blue-green deployment differs from the ramped deployment because of the green version is applicable and deployed alongside blue version. So this is the strategy. So old version should be there and it is not pointing, it should be created. So now at a time it should be pointed to new version. Okay. After testing the new version then meets the requirement, we have updated the Kubernetes service object, place the role of load balancer, send traffic to the new version, replaces the label with selector field. So these have instant rollout, rollback. Okay, avoid versioning issues. Changing the entire cluster state is one go. Crons like require double the resources, and the proper test of the entire application should done before releasing the production. Okay, landing stateful application can be hard. Now canary deployment. Canary deployment consists of routing and the subsets of users to functionality. In Kubernetes, canary deployments can done using two deployment with common pod labels. One replica of the new version is released alongside old version. Okay. Then after some time, if no errors detected, and scale up the number of replicas and then a version and delete the old deployment. It should be some percentage based. It should be created a new one and old one should be deleted. Okay. Here also some advantage and disadvantage. Okay. The version release for subset of users. convenient for user rate and performance monitoring, fast rollbacks, okay, crons, roll or rollout, and fine-tune traffic distribution can be expensive. Now these are the deployment strategies, okay. So deployment it will come up along with the replication set and replication controller and rollout rollback uh, the changes, okay. And when you do deployment, it will be come up with replica set along with pods, okay. Now we have create, if you want to access our containers from the outside, so you just need to create the service, okay. Service enables the network to access the pods in Kubernetes, okay. Suppose, sorry, let me close this one. So this is my node, okay. Under node I have pods, okay. Under pods my containers are running, right? Okay, to access this container from the browser, so you need to create a service file, okay. Through service file only you can able to access the data from the outside. If you need part to part communication also, you need to create a service file. So that type of the service should be cluster IP, okay. So to access this one, we can use the node load balancer and node port. So these are the types also it should be there, okay. Services select the based on their labels. When the network require the made to service, it selects all the pods cluster matching the service selector, chooses one of them and forward the network request to. Here the general attributes of Kubernetes service. Okay. Label selector can pods that are tagged by the service. So if you check the services, get service cd docker cat service.yml. You have selector, okay, and you have labels, right? You have specific, okay. This is the kind metadata. This is the service name, and here type is node port under selector. Okay, here the uh, app is there, right? So that should be selector can be defined the targeted port by the service. Okay, each service is assigned with the IP that is we called as cluster IP. The service proxies use. A service can map to incoming port and to any target port. The target should be set by default if you didn't mention anything. Okay, the target port is defined as a string. So protocols we will use TCP IP. Okay, this is the target port and this is the port for your service. Okay, this target port should be mapped with um, deployment port. Okay, the port number assigned to each name can vary each backend port. For example, you can change the port number the pod exposes in the next version of backend software without breaking the clients. Services support TCP by default. If you didn't mention UDP, if you didn't mention anything, UDP STP protocols also it should be supported. The services can be defined with or without selector. Services support variety of port definitions. Okay, pod definitions. So types of services as I said, like we have different services. One is cluster IP, node port, load balancer, external IP. So if you need a pod-to-pod communication, okay, suppose one pod have many containers, right? If you need pod-to-pod communication within the cluster, you just use the cluster IP. This is the default value. The service only accessible from the within the cluster. You can't make request to your pods from the outside of the cluster. Okay, if you use the service type is cluster IP instead of node port, so you just within the cluster only you can able to access using curl hyphen HTTP, and that only you can do. If you need to access your service from the outside, you just need to use node port. Okay, this makes service available on the static port on each node in the cluster. This means the service handle the request the originated from the outside of the cluster. Now load balancer. If you have your cluster should be on AWS or Azure or GCP, that time you just created the load balancer. So in one of previous sessions, I just showed you load balancer one. You just go through and refer that one. If you have load balancer, it should be created a load balancer services. You can hit that one, you can get the response. The service becomes accessible through the cloud provider like load balancer functionality. Okay. So AWS, GCP, Azure, OpenStack offers this functionality. The cloud providers will create a load balancer which then automatically routes the request to your Kubernetes service. The external IP. This is mapped to the service content of the external name field. Okay, like .com. It does this by returning value of the CNAME records. This is the services. Okay, to access your application from the outside, you just need to create a service. Even part to part also in the cluster also you just need to create a services. Using services only you can access the containers. Now pod life cycle. This is the theory only. So like you can go through this document, you will get understand the phases of life cycle like pod life cycle. Like initially it should be pending, then running and succeeded, okay, then failed and unknown. So these are the main basic pod life cycle. Like initially when you created the pod, okay, here the pending means the pod has been accepted by the Kubernetes cluster, but no one or more containers has not set up and made is ready. If the status is pending, you just need to understand this one. If it is running, pod has been bound on to the node and all the containers have been created and succeeded. All containers pod have terminated successfully will not be restarted. If it is failed, all the containers have this terminated and at least one container has terminated in the failure. Okay, unknown. For some reasons, the state of the pod could not be obtained. This phase typically occurs due to an error communicating with the node whether pod should be running or not. Okay, this is the container state, and each state has specific meaning. And the container restart policies. Okay, there are different. You can go through this pod life cycle one. Okay, these all are theory only. So you just need to remember the value of the status of the pending pod status pending running or success like that. Okay, so pod will follow defined life cycle starting from pending phase to moving through running at one of the primary container states. Okay, okay, that's all about in this session. So we just need to know that deployments and services, replication controller, replication set, replica set, and pods. Okay, these are the basic objects in the uh, Kubernetes. Okay, we will check another things in next section. Okay, thanks all. Bye.